WENY News at 6.
Governor Andrew Cuomo enters the heroin conversation, pitching his approach to combating the epidemic. Good evening, I'm Renata Steele.
And I'm John Kessler. Thank you for joining us on WENY News at 6. Earlier this week, the New York State Senate passed nearly 24 bills to help combat heroin addiction.
Now, the Assembly has not yet approved those bills, and neither has Governor Cuomo, but he does have his own approach. WENY's Tanja Reiki joins us to explain. Tanja?
Renata and John, the governor today said heroin abuse has reached epidemic proportions. He said 1/3 of heroin seizures by the Drug Enforcement Administration throughout the country come from New York State. The governor's approach to the problem comes in 3 parts. Paramedics with Irway Ambulance use naloxone, a heroin and opioid overdose antidote, up to 10 times a week to help people here locally who are potentially seconds from death.
The potential to save lives is huge.
Irway has had the life-saving kits for over 30 years now. New legislation proposed by Governor Cuomo would put naloxone in the hands of every first responder.
The police and the firefighters can be on scene much quicker than the ambulance in a lot of the situations.
According to the governor, a major demographic using heroin are people between the ages of 18 and 24. So, his new initiative also includes an awareness campaign on state campuses and is made available to private colleges as well.
This state has a serious problem with heroin, and it has been growing. And it is getting worse, and it is of epidemic proportions at this point.
100 experienced investigators will also be added to the State Police Community Narcotics Enforcement Team, nearly doubling it. There are 5 CNET units throughout the state, the closest one in Vestal. CNET units help local departments that sometimes lack resources to have many investigators working undercover. And meantime, State Senator Tom O'Mara, who helped put the Senate's heroin legislation together, noticed many similarities between Governor Cuomo's approach and the Senate proposal. However, that package of bills still requires Assembly approval. Tanja Reiki, WENY News.
Thank you very much, Tanja. Well, a funeral for the man stabbed over the weekend in Elmira is set for this Friday. Alice Kittles was stabbed early Saturday morning near the Riverview Apartments at the intersection of West Chemung Place and South Main Street. His service is scheduled for Friday morning at 10 at Shabbat Tabernacle. A makeshift memorial has been set up at the spot where Kittles was found. Elmira police are still investigating, but no arrests have been made.
Warm and humid conditions across the Twin Tiers today, and a couple of hit-or-miss showers and thunder showers as well. Latest look at the radar map showing some spotty activity to the south and west of Elmira, but notice most of the viewing area dry at this hour. But with all the humidity in place, we really can't rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm here as we progress through the overnight period. As we check in on current conditions at the airport in Big Flats, down to 69 degrees, but relative humidity awfully high. It's at 84%, a southeasterly breeze at 12 miles an hour. Still 73 in Corning, quite a bit warmer north and west of there. Dansville at 84, but on the flip side of things, farther east, we're cooler, mid-60s in Towanda and in Ithaca at this hour. 71 in Thurston, 63 in Erin, and 65 in New Albany. Our first forecast for the rest of tonight, mostly cloudy, warm, and muggy. Chance for a shower or thunderstorm, mid-60s with a southeasterly breeze. Tomorrow we push temperatures back up to near 80 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast once again with winds out of the south. Still expecting unsettled conditions for Friday, but the weekend continues to look nice. That forecast in just a few minutes.
Good deal. Thank you, Joe. There's a human rights group that's calling on Washington to lift a ban on inter-country adoptions in Nepal.
The group Both Ends Burning met with leaders in Washington, D.C. last week, fighting to open adoption between American families and Nepali orphans. As WENY's Aisha McKenzie tells us, the fight hits close to home for a Southern Tier family. Aisha?
John and Renata, Sherilyn Keegan of Elmira Heights says she joined the advocacy group in Washington, D.C. because of her special ties to Nepal.
When we realized on that same day of adoption that I would not get a visa for her, and in fact I would have to return without her, it was obviously one of the most difficult days to go through.
Sherilyn Keegan of Elmira Heights adopted 6-year-old Junu in December 2010 in Nepal when she was just 3 years old. But when Keegan was ready to take her daughter home to the southern tier, she was told she couldn't. That's because a U.S. Department of State investigation halted adoptions in Nepal due to unreliable documentation. The U.S. had difficulty determining whether the children were orphans under U.S. law.
It was kind of hard because I never talked. I was just like that, quiet.
Junu spent 6 weeks in an orphanage while Sherilyn fought to prove her new daughter's orphan status, costing upwards of $70,000. And she's not alone. The U.S. Embassy completed 62 other cases, costing each family an average of $25,000.
I guess you never know what journey you're on in life in general, but I wouldn't change it.
After investigating for 82 days, the U.S. Embassy found there was no evidence of fraud. And on April 2nd, 2011, Sherilyn was able to bring Junu home. But an adoption suspension in Nepal remains in place. Now, human rights group Both Ends Burning is looking to end it and give those children homes.
What we are doing is trying to protect the family unit for children, whether that means adoption or reunification. And so the purpose of the Nepal report was to show how the U.S. had, through its foreign policy, really abdicated that responsibility to the Nepali orphan children.
Both Ends Burning says they will continue to call on Congress to review the actions of the Department of State on the adoption suspension. Aisha McKenzie, WENY News.
Thank you very much, Aisha, for that story. 3 local women were honored today for their contributions to the Twin Tiers community. The YWCA recognized the women at their annual Tribute to Women Awards at Elmira College. Lois Place received the Tribute to Women Award. Caitlin Price received the Youth Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Award was given to Myra Stemmerman. Keynote speaker, Corning Community College President Dr. Catherine Douglas spoke about the importance of volunteering and the success of equality for women.
I encourage everyone to get involved with the YWCA and as many other organizations as you find interesting. Don't just sit home and read a book and think you have nothing to do. The world is out there waiting for you.
I like to just try to get out there and help as much as I can, especially with sports. Last year I organized a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for children to benefit the food bank.
And it was a packed house today. More than 200 people attended today's awards banquet.
Boston's newest rail cars are going to be put together in Elmira Heights. CAF USA just landed the $118 million contract to manufacture 24 new rail cars for Boston's Green Line extension. CAF will make the shells and the frames for the cars at its facility in Spain. Then final assembly and testing, it'll happen in Elmira Heights. Delivery of the new cars scheduled for the end of 2017 and into 2018.
Well, legislation extending a series of protections for homeowners facing foreclosure is headed to Governor Cuomo's desk. Under the bill, lenders will have to give homeowners 90 days notice of foreclosure and offer mandatory settlement conferences. Now, those protections were first enacted in 2009, but were set to expire in February unless lawmakers voted to extend them. The Assembly passed the bill last week, and the Senate gave their stamp of approval yesterday.
Got a warning about a medical phone scam happening in Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania's Attorney General's office says beware of unsolicited phone calls from someone claiming to be from a government or nonprofit health organization. The scam artists say you are entitled to compensation as a result of recent surgery. But the call does run the risk of identity theft and credit card fraud if you provide any information. If you do get a call like this, you're asked to call the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office.
Well, we have an update on the hacking of our website, WENY.com. Last night, we have regained control of our website after it was taken over by an outside entity based in the country of Jordan. Our web developer has taken steps to fix the issue and is working to prevent it from happening again. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience this issue has caused to those who rely on our website for news and weather updates. Still to come, it hasn't happened since the 1980s.
The sitting House Majority Leader loses a primary taken down by a college professor. We'll look into how it happened.
And the warm and humid conditions will stick around, but still expecting improvements for the weekend. Details coming up right after the break. But first, here's a live look at our Crystal City Skycam. You're watching WENY News at 6.